Hi everybody, Val Oshlin with O2 Brand Catalyst, another person behind the brand. We have someone so special today. I wanted to make a quick comment on why we're doing this. So I have a personal philosophy that everyone is unique. Everyone has a purpose on this earth. And I think the more unique qualities you can bring out in someone, the more people that will be attracted to them. That's what attracts people to you. It's not only your unique qualities, but your inspiring qualities. So when I'm doing these interviews, basically I'm letting you in on my process. So when I do a brand film, or I do a vision workshop, or I write content, I'm always looking for those qualities. It's my job to find those so that I can articulate the authentic you. So as we're talking to people, we find out some things. So you're gonna see what kind of questions I ask. And at the end of the day, authenticity sells. If you wanna just talk in a business sense, that's a fact. So I think finding out, hey, what is it that inspires me about this person is important, because that's gonna be the authenticity we're looking for. So today, the person behind the brand is Diana Loomis, and she is the owner of Hot Mama Salsa. I'm gonna welcome her right now. Welcome.
Thanks for
say
Thank
hello.
you. Good morning. Buenos dias.
Buenos dias. Wow, Spanish and everything. So Diana is one of the hardest working people I think I've known. If you call her during the workday, she's in work mode. You get her out of work mode, like now, hopefully, and she's like bubbly and fun. You get her in work mode and she's all about getting things done. But what I love about her is the passion that she shows in everything she does. So we're gonna find out a little bit more. All right, Diana, so why salsa? Why not sardines or something like that? Like, where did this salsa thing come from?
One, sardines smell bad.
Okay, right, we don't like that.
And so salsa.
Mm-hmm. It's a recipe from someone.
Yes.
I think.
It goes all the way back to being 8 years old and watching my abuelita in Texas.
What does that mean?
Abuelita. Grandmother in Spanish.
Okay.
And she was always making Mexican food. And that really stuck with me. In high school, all of my reports that I had to do in business class and was always on food.
Oh. And did you love to cook? Like forever?
Loved it. My mom worked part-time and I loved surprising her. She would come home and I would have a fully
cooked meal.
Yes. Loved it.
Did you ever like sell it at the farmer's market or anything like that?
Yep. So
here in town in Bozeman?
That's how I started out. So moved to Bozeman about 17 years ago, and probably about 6 months later started making salsa just to give it away for Christmas presents to neighbors, whoever I could give it to, and they loved it.
Did you have to perfect the recipe?
Yes, over time.
So they would give you like, it's not spicy enough, or
again,
okay,
yes.
Yep.
And so gave that to them gave the salsa for Christmas presents, and then somebody called and said, hey, can I order that for my New Year's Eve party?
Oh.
And I was like, oh, wait a second.
I have something.
Whoa. So that's how it started.
So when was the actual moment that you said to yourself, okay, I'm going to go from gifts and farmer's market to I'm going to go into the food and beverage market, which is hugely competitive.
Hugely competitive. I wasn't thinking about that.
Oh, you weren't? Did you even know that?
I didn't know that at the time.
Wow, okay.
I know that now. The challenges are endless. I like a challenge though. So.
Yeah. But how did you know how? So you literally thought, okay, I'm going to sell this now professionally in mass. What do I do next?
I have to say that it was my customers that really kept perpetuating that growth for me.
Encouraging you.
Mm-hmm, yes. And so it was one farmer's market season, it was another farmer's market season, and then in the winter time, they didn't have full access to it to get their salsa. And so it was becoming somewhat of a staple that they wanted to have on a weekly basis in their home. So I took the next steps and reached out to the health department and all those, boring
All the
details
things
that
that
you have to do.
Where do you buy your tomatoes?
So tomatoes are purchased from a distributor, and we have them come in mass quantity, and they are produced in California.
Wow. So it amazes me that you went from not knowing much to learning, right? Having to learn and then jumping into it. So what would you say has been the biggest lesson where you were like, oh my gosh, I had no idea it was going to be this hard?
I always say that we have to have something to look forward to every day. So I love my lists. Just hold on. Always got a list for me, got a list for Daniel, got a list for employees, list.
So list for you, list for your son.
List for everybody. I love lists.
Everyone that works. Okay. And you check them off.
Yeah, and you check it off, and it's so rewarding to see that. And then at the end of the day, instead of like worrying about what you didn't get done, prioritizing, getting through what you can, and then you get to rewrite the list before you go to bed.
So it's almost
start
a way,
over again.
So you're organized, right? You would say?
Yes.
And it's a way of kind of encouraging yourself to go, I actually accomplished something.
Yes, and there's short-term things on there. There's long-term things that the more you just keep writing it, you get in touch, in tune with it, and it gets done. Eventually it gets done.
This is what I mean about you being like focused. You're focused.
Yes.
So when you get away from work, you're a little different, right? How would you say that? Like, what happens to you when you finish working? You come home.
Typical end of the day. I'm a little nutty when I come home.
Shocker.
I have to somehow decompress, so like get into my space, really connect, get in here. So.
And how do you do that? Different ways.
Different ways.
Don't talk about drinking too much or anything like that.
No.
Just like practical ways.
I love plants, so generally I come home and I water my plants.
Water plants.
If you step back just a hair, Val, I don't know if you can see, but in the windowsill, plants. So I love playing with my plants, and come home.
I think Thomas Jefferson said something about gardening and how that actually improves your thinking and calming down and relaxing. So that would make sense.
Yeah. So that's one thing that I can, come in and do. And cooking, come home and just
of course cooking.
Start.
I would think it would be the last thing you'd want to do.
I know, you would think that at this point I should be done with that. I go in waves.
Yeah.
I do love our local restaurants here. I love supporting that. I love takeout.
You're kind of a foodie.
Yes.
Of course you are. Okay, so a very competitive environment that you're in. Salsa, food, consumer products-ish, right? This is a time to tell us why you're different, or why your salsa is different, or anything you make is different.
So here is the key factor. Love. I want to
Wow, she's so intense.
I want to get my rock. Okay, wait.
Oh my gosh. Oh wow. Yes. That's a heart. Can you see that, everyone? That's a heart. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, so what are you trying to say with that?
So what I'm trying to say with that is what comes through, and I hear time and time again from my customers, from my employees, is the authenticity, the realness of me being a fellow human, and me wanting to also think about this, okay? Mm-hmm. So you're in Arizona, New Mexico, California, where, that type of Navajo type of Southwestern feel. You're going to a little cantina to have some chips and salsa, and that's what I'm producing every day in these.
We have some right here.
In these. This is our medium, this is the mild, and this is the hot.
The hot is awesome.
The three heats that you can purchase. And you're going to the grocery store and you're purchasing this container,
Mm-hmm.
and it tastes like you're at that cantina, sitting down.
So
eating
you
chips
would
and
say
salsa.
kind of you're creating an experience.
Yes, and that's very important to me.
Well, because you love experiences.
I do.
You just said it, when you come home, there's specific experiences that you jump into.
Right.
And you're creating that one for them. It's almost like when you go on vacation, right? And you have some sort of food, like you said, if you're in the Southwest, you're in New Mexico or Arizona, and you have something like this,
Mm-hmm.
and you think, oh, it tastes so good. How would I bring that back?
Right. And that's ties into the roots of my grandma, and my mother was very
So for you, it means something.
connected to food. Yes.
So it reminds you of those experiences. That's amazing. I think what I find with the strongest brands, they mean something to the person behind them. It's not just money.
Right.
If it were money, I don't know where any of us would be.
Right.
Unless you were Steve Jobs or something, right? But even he was passionate about computers, about changing the world.
And he did.
And he did. So I'm guessing it probably wasn't about the money for him either. And I think that's where the authenticity part comes in. So you're a person that says, I really want to give someone an experience.
Yes.
And that's different maybe than other products. I don't even know who's behind half of this stuff that's in the grocery store, right?
And we should know that, right?
We should know that.
We should know that.
Well,
I think
yeah,
we should.
if
know
they're
that.
doing their job, I think so. What inspires you? Maybe not food related. We know food inspires you. What else?
Everything inspires me. I learned through you that I'm a teacher when I did your branding class, and that was a huge thing for me. So I love learning.
That's a good point. We talked about that.
I never had that
You're
realization.
an instructional person.
Yes,
Mhm.
I teach my staff. I teach my children, my customers.
You educate.
Yes. And on a side note, I went to a yoga training about 2.5 years ago because I wanted to learn something outside of my company, and that was life-changing. A month-long training that just, you learned so much.
And now you teach that sometimes, right?
Yes.
You lead it. I think sometimes the best teachers are the people that are always learning.
Yes.
Right? I'm
'Cause
fascinated by that.
what is there if we're not constantly trying to increase our knowledge?
So in your business, it would stand to reason that you can overcome some of these difficulties because you're figuring out ways to do it.
Right.
And then hopefully you're helping your employees do the same.
Right, and what I love is transparency. I love that I make mistakes instead of, I'm going to beat myself up for that at the end of the day. No, I'm going to look at it and say, okay, I'm human. I did this. Can you have some grace? Take the steps that you need to, and then learn from it
Learn from
and
it.
grow.
Well, you're very unique.
Thank you.
For sure, and like you just said, we learned that you're a teacher. You care about people. That
So much.
also makes a good teacher. So interesting. The person behind the brand is something more than salsa, isn't it?
Oh, it is.
Last question.
Okay.
Before the lightning round, watch out.
Lightning.
What would you tell someone who is at the farmer's market selling something, or maybe they're just thinking of starting a business? What general tip would you give them to say, hey, here's what you have to have in your mind? What would you say?
50 things just ran through my mind.
I know.
And I was like,
'cause
which
it's a list.
Which
You're a
one?
list person.
Which one do I tell?
The thing that could make or break them.
Okay. So for me, I feel, oh my God, there's so many things. Finding an order to what you're doing. So the days of the week follow, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Finding those 1 through 10 steps, or 1 through 30, or whatever they are, and getting that order of importance when you're doing something will make your life so much easier.
The urgent things need to be the urgent things.
It gives you
on your
clarity and also reaching out. You have to have a mentor. You have to find somebody that can guide you.
Wow. Well, that's interesting. 'Cause that's hard to find.
It makes the process
People are so detached.
easier, and I didn't have that.
I
I
didn't.
did have pieces and pockets, but I really
You
didn't
needed a mentor.
have that, and I think that that can excel your experience faster.
Wow. That's great advice because they can instruct you. As you said, you can learn from them.
Right.
Great tip, I think. We all need mentors. They're hard to find.
It has to be the right
I'm
fit.
sure there's going to be like 500 people calling her. She's really busy. But I think that's great advice. You need to learn from someone. Okay? Lightning round. These are fast questions,
Ooh.
short answers, and then we're going to do something really
Okay.
special. Most embarrassing moment. I'm sorry. I could lead you into that. Most embarrassing moment. Would you like to, or no? You want to skip that one? Okay.
I've had a few.
Would you like to name any?
We can say it carefully.
What's that?
Hiking and needing to use the bathroom.
I don't want to hear that. So let's skip it. Was that Pete's Hill? No. never
You
mind.
are so mean.
Cats or dogs?
Cats.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Wow. How'd you get to Bozeman, Montana?
I know, right?
Oh wow.
Love the puppies. Love the puppies. Love all the animals.
But you're a cat person.
Love cats.
All right. If you had to be arrested for something, had to be, what would you want it to be?
What would I want it to be?
Yeah, which might have been the Pete's Hill thing. but
No.
Let's go to something else. What would you want to be arrested for?
Indecent exposure.
Wow. I don't know. Does that surprise anyone? Fill in the blank. Justin Bieber is whatever you think.
Small.
Good point. If you had 1 week to live, what would you do?
Oh my gosh.
No lists.
No list.
You just say, I want to make sure I get this done. 1 week to live.
1 week to live. Just travel as much as I can. See everything I can see in a week.
Wow. All over the world?
Everywhere.
Wow.
We'll just be like flight, next
Boom,
flight,
boom, boom.
flight.
Let's go.
Got 2 hours here. Let's get back on that plane. Come on.
Let's go.
Let's see it.
Favorite movie?
Dirty Dancing.
Oh, wow.
Patrick Swayze.
Oh, you're a Patrick Swayze
Oh my
fan.
goodness.
Interesting. He was nice looking.
Mm.
Yeah, good dancer.
Mm.
Kind of John Travolta, different
Right?
generation, right?
Oh, dreamy.
Dreamy. Mauled by a grizzly bear or eaten by a shark? Those are your choices.
I'm going Montana, the bear.
Oh, wow. That could be slow. Well, they could both be slow. Yeah. Your biggest pet peeve?
Hooey. My biggest pet peeve. If you say you're going to do it, do it. Follow through.
I'm glad I was on time today. Kind of. Corn or flour? Tortilla.
Corn.
Really? Is that so? Is flour just not? Okay.
Okay.
Corn. Period.
Period.
All right. Who's your favorite brand cattle?
Well, you know who it is. It's Val.
Thank you. That is the right answer, interestingly enough.
Obviously.
Okay, so we're going to do something that we haven't done yet on these interviews. Well, I think we had someone make sangria, Sonia Williamson.
Love her.
She's got, Diana has a special recipe for scrambled eggs. I asked her, hey, can you teach us something? She goes, well, I have a recipe for scrambled eggs. Basic recipe, I don't have any idea what she's going to do. So she's going to go over here to her stove, and I'm going to turn the camera. So just be patient with us here. And we're going to make sure you get to see it.
Yes.
And she's going to kind of, it's not long. We got a couple minutes here, so let's go.
So we start with cracking some eggs. You always have to put a little milk when you whisk them. And this is a little bit already in the process. So one thing you have to have, a couple things, nonstick pan, butter or oil of your choice. I like organic products. So these are brown organic eggs, and I've got some organic butter. And so the heat is very important with the eggs. So you want, if this was, just starting with the liquid, what you're wanting to do is you really want to push everything to the center and flip. So you kind of put a little lift on the handle, and you're wanting to fold. So you're turning it, like, think about this as like a pie, squares, well, triangles of pie. So you're flipping, and the thing about scrambled eggs is you don't really want to walk away, because the minute you walk away, something's going to happen. You're going to get a film, you're going to get that brown, papery, sticking, and nobody wants that. So you're over here doing this, just being one with your eggs, just tuning in with your food. So come over here. I've got some already in the pan, and so you can see there's some grated cheese. I love to grate cheese by hand. There is nothing like that. The shredded cheeses have a coating on them. It's like a baby powder film. It's not my favorite. They have to do it. There's a specific reason, but if you can just hand grate it. I did pepper jack, and I think I did a medium cheddar. I like Tillamook. It has a really good flavor. So I'm going to do a little pinch of pepper. I've already done salt, but we'll just do a little bit more. And key thing is, all my employees know this, and if you know me, you know this, and Val's going to learn it because she's starting to know me. You can always add, you cannot take away. So season carefully, because if it's ruined, it's ruined. So, and that can be avoided. Okay, so there we go. Okay, so what I did with the Hot Mama salsa is I strained it. You don't have to see that, but I will tell you what this is called is liquid gold, because that makes a great Bloody Mary when you drain off some of this. And the reason you want to do this is because you don't want all that juice dripping out of your burrito and just going everywhere. Salsa's already messy, so if we can avoid that, we would want to do that. Okay, so that part's done. I am going to grab a measuring cup. I want this one. Okay, so here we go. We're going to turn that just a wee. Okay, so I'm going to scoop about a cup of mixture. I think this is about a 9-inch tortilla. So if you're making a burrito, you want to have some, you want to have a good size to it. See? The little ones you would only be able to fold in half. So let's see, can you see that? Yeah, pretty much. So right there in the center. So think of your tortilla like an envelope. So we're coming in, and you can see this is measuring up, okay? So over here on the edges, you're gonna have to tip that in, there you go. You're pulling this up, okay? And you're like folding it over. So then you're tucking it. See, you got this piece out here. You're tucking it to have your stuff sealed. And look at that, voila.
Wow. I always wanted to know how to fold a burrito.
Yeah, and there's other ways, but that's the way that works for me, and everything just stays nice and compact in there. So
awesome.
That's your little
tip.
Burrito
Yeah.
scrambled egg tip.
Well, you guys, thanks for joining us. I think my parting message when I look at the person behind the brand is that she is about more than her product. She is a very unique person in that she likes to teach. I'm guessing cooking show is in her future. That seems very natural. But she's also a person that loves learning. And she's a critical thinker. And I'm guessing a problem solver as well. Great to be all of those things and be a business owner. So hope you're inspired today by Diana. Thanks, you guys. We're out of here. We'll see you in a couple weeks for the next one. Bye.
Much love.
Bye, everyone.
Adios.
Adios. I'm sure I'm still live here. It's because I don't have my glasses on. Hey, you guys, branding, blue glasses, blue shirt, ignore. Oh, looky there.